Bobby Tomberlin. So cool. Stay there.
All right.
You became close with the Hank Williams family. You've talked about Merle Kilgore, Hank Jr. You were were you the first person? You were one of the first people that responded when Hank Jr.'s daughters, Holly and Hillary, were in that terrible automobile wreck.
Yeah, I remember it was Holly's birthday, and I was with them the night before. And I remember Hillary saying, you know, I just have a really bad feeling about going down to Louisiana. They were headed to their grandfather, their mother's dad's funeral, and just a horrific car accident. Hillary actually had over 30 surgeries, and she just released a brand new record too. But it's been really interesting. It seems like I just meet another generation of the family. And, and the guest that I brought today, I'm just so proud of him. I remember my first memory of him was in Merle Kilgore's office. I was in there one day, and then Hank Jr. and his wife came in, and she was expecting him. And then I saw him through the years. I mean, we were never close, but I would see him. I remember when he was 8 years old, his sister and I took him to a concert. And I remember him coming to the hospital, and I would see him at the Opry with Holly. And then all of a sudden, on social media, he's putting up videos, he's writing songs, and we just kind of connected, and we've done a few shows, and he recently signed a major publishing contract, and he has a video that's out right now on CMT. And I just think there's just great things that's going to be coming his way.
I never saw Hank Sr. in person, but I've seen enough pictures that when I look at Sam Williams, I see what Hank Williams must have looked like.
Yeah, I've got a lot of the features you can't really hide. The ears, it's not that my ears are very big, they just kind of point out a little bit, I feel like. And that's how his were. And I thought it might have washed away by the time I had a baby, but nope, my baby's ears go right out just like mine. Yeah.
How old are you, Sam?
I'm 21 years old. Yeah.
Everybody, oh.
So when Jamie Johnson sang that song earlier today, I was like, oh, man.
Enjoy that
I was like, I got to lose some of this stress, man.
And he's already really writing great songs.
Well, that's what I've been told, yeah.
Thank you.
So I can just hardly imagine, and I don't think any of us in this room, what it must be like to be the grandson of the patron saint, really, if there is one of country music, Hank Williams, and then Hank Jr. being your father. Is that a burden to bear? Is it a blessing? Is it somewhere in between?
Well, I guess it just depends on what day you would ask me. But I would not say it was a burden at all, because it gives me opportunities like this. And I'd like to thank Bobby just for inviting me to do this, because I tell him, I wouldn't be here without you. And he's like, oh, yeah, you would. And I'm like, no, I really actually wouldn't be. I don't know. I'm not as like musically inept as some people might think. They might think that I was like 2 or 3 years old. My dad's sticking me in guitar lessons and whatever. I actually don't play yet. But after I had a child, I kind of realized, I'd always knew that I could write, and I realized I'm gonna have to do something, or I'm gonna live off Daddy's money for a long time. So I started writing songs, and it just started to pour out, and that it was natural for me. But it is odd, because my grandfather had a lot of issues, just personally, as we all know. Not just with drinking, but, just being sure of himself and being confident about things. And I deal with those same things. And a lot of the parallels that we have aren't just with music or, personality. They're, with struggles with things like that. But I would never consider it a burden of any kind. I feel grateful to have the connection that I have with him and Audrey.
Well, I saw your dad struggle with being put on stage when he was extremely young. I toured with him a lot, and I saw that. And I saw people get mad at him because he wasn't his father, didn't want to do things the way that Hank Sr. did them. And it was a burden. It became, at times, a burden for Hank Jr. Of course, he put that all behind him and went on and has had a fantastic career. Bobby says, okay, you're starting to write. What kinds of things are you writing?
I try not to. Sometimes it's a little bit hard having a publishing deal now. But I really, truly just write whatever I feel. I have a couple songs with, it truly is whatever I feel, not really based on a genre. I've been writing with a lady named Leslie Satcher. She wrote Troubadour. She's a lovely woman. I love Leslie. And we came into a write last week, and she had a line, and it was like, and I'm a neon prince from a line of neon kings. And, you know, it was a cool kind of thing, but I was like, that's not really me, and I don't want to write that today, so we didn't. And I wrote a song about my sister Katie, and I really just like to write like what's on my heart at the time and try to take it slow so I don't ruin myself as a songwriter so early on, and I can really kind of organically develop and do it the right way.
What would you guys ask Hank Williams' grandson if you had the opportunity? You've got the opportunity. What do y'all want to know?
I'd love to. You know, I went through through that museum down in Montgomery, and it was really one of the first times I ever saw Hank Sr., you know, on this little TV show they had, and, you know, I just could not believe the charisma that came out of this guy. I mean, I heard everybody talk about Hank Williams, but until I saw that really rare TV clip, and that, I mean, it was like Elvis Presley kind of charisma. But through that tour, they were saying that a lot of people didn't realize that he had some type of a meningitis or something. Or what really got him? It wasn't drinking. It was another thing that a lot.
Spina bifida, yeah.
It was, what was it?
Spina bifida in his back.
So most people around, I know where I grew up, they don't know that. They don't know that it was. They, wow, gosh, he, you know, drank too much or something. But that wasn't it at all.
Well, Bobby is the historian of country music. It's not me, but. He had always had spina bifida, and that was before it was like diagnosed as a disease and like, you know, known across America and how to diagnose. And I believe that he was just in a hunting accident, like he was bird hunting or something, and fell while they were chasing after birds and hurt his back further than that. So he'd been prescribed morphine and things like that to deal with the pain, because the pain was just unimaginable, I'm sure.
Little Jimmy Dickens actually told me, he said in that last year and a half, there were times when Hank would fall down, like on stage, and he said, you know, he wasn't always like drunk. He said it was the spina bifida, the back trouble. And, you know, you got to think, too, how much he was traveling in a car. I mean, thousands of miles with this problem with his back. And then coming in.
Not a tour bus.
Yeah, right.
Not like we
In
get
a
the tour
car
now.
with 4 band members.
Right.
Weren't interstate highways either.
Right, exactly.
What would you ask him? What would you ask them?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know. You caught me off guard.
Well, I'm just wondering. I don't want to be the one to
Yeah.
ask all the questions. Paul.
I'd ask him to sing a song.
Well, I think that would be great. You're going to do
That'll work.
Hank Williams song.
Yes, I am. Yeah. All right.
I do want to tell you one thing, though. All of the video clips I ever saw of Hank Williams, I never saw him in person. And the pictures, just that his eyes just told something. They were just so deep. And I was looking at his eyes earlier. And I remember when a young Dean Dillon came up to me and he said, I want to meet you. My name is Dean Rutherford, and I'm 18 years old, and I write songs. And I looked at him and I said, oh my God, yes you do. Because he had that same look in his eyes. Look at Dean Dillon's eyes. But I think that that had nothing to do with what I'd asked him, but I just wanted to say that. And I was standing there in the break room looking at him saying, oh my God, yes you do, write songs.
Yeah. Well, I like to say sometimes I respect a lot of people that kind of have like y'all from North Carolina, I would say that y'all have like a regional grit into your voice and how you were raised and things like that and your style. And for me, I don't have as much of a regional grit or like a, you know, musical knowledge grit, but I definitely have like a passed down emotional grit, things that just inherited and things that from my life. So I always say that much. Thank you, Gene.
Well, I'm an English